The Democratic Socialists of America, the DSA, is the largest socialist organization in the United States. The list of DSA members who have run for office and won consists of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Jamal Bowman, Julia Salazar, and Rashida Tlaib. There are also lesser-known candidates who have run for office and won, including, but not limited to, Amy Peruso, Elizabeth Fiedler, Sarah Inamorado, and Summer Lee. Currently, NITHYA RAMAN is running for Los Angeles City Council District 4. So right now, please follow her on Twitter, donate to her, and just support her in general. And NITHYA, please come on our show. One of the goals of DSA is to get people into office who will actually serve the communities that they are representing. So, some of those goals are Medicare for all, Green New Deal, building a stronger labor movement. But there are also other committees, such as the Disability Caucus and Working Group, the Immigrant Rights Working Group, the Socialist Feminist Group, and the Veterans Working Group. There's so many different things that you can be a part of. We also have mutual aid within communities. We have agitation and propaganda, prison reform, so much more that you can join and kind of create your own unique path in DSA. This is why if you supported Bernie Sanders, or if you're just a progressive, join DSA. It's basically the campaign, but forever, for eternity. There's so much stuff you can do. There's even more freedom for organizers. Natalie and I, we recently sat down with a couple DSA organizers to discuss their experiences within DSALA. We talked through Zoom, and so this is the conversation. All right, so we're with Kat and Abril, and we wanted to ask you both, we wanted to start by asking, why did you join DSA?
I can go first. So I joined DSA mainly because Bernie dropped out. So I did join recently, and because whenever we would be at like the Bernie office, I always felt like this sense of community, like everybody was there for like a goal, like we all like knew each other's kind of way of thinking. And I don't know, I was really missing that. And then a lot of my friends had already joined DSA and they were like, what are you doing? Just join DSA. You know, like they do work towards like things that Bernie also likes or wants to accomplish. So I was like, okay, like something that was holding me back was the membership fee. Like, you know how they have member fees. So I was like, I don't know if I can afford it, you know, like COVID, everything that's going on. I don't have a job anymore. But they have this program called Comrades for Comrades. And basically what that does is that there's a fund that other members pay, other members that can't pay dues in advance. So yeah. That's mainly why I joined. Not because of Comrades for Comrades, it was because Bernie dropped out and I wanted to continue working towards progressive ideas.
I came to like DSA because of Bernie. Back in 2016, I started learning more about socialism, and I realized how much I didn't know, and I really wanted the opportunity to like really develop a theory of change that was aligned to Bernie's platform and to socialism in general. And I think DSA was the best opportunity for me to learn more about that.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you both for sharing. And Kat, thank you also for sharing about Comrades for Comrades. I actually didn't know about that. So,
no, yeah, I like to tell people that because it's like some people really, that's what holds you back. Like I had held back for a long time, but I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it. Because, you know, I know that someone else can afford it for me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not in a bad way, but, you know, like someone can help me out.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's definitely like the community aspect of DSA for sure. Mm-hmm. And I also wanted to ask you both if you have any roles in DSA, what are they? And if you're in any committees, what committees are you a part of?
Okay, so I am actually, I'll go first. I'm actually the branch or co-branch coordinator with Janet, who's not on the call right now, but we are branch coordinators for the East Side and SGV area, which that branch literally just happened to be formed like actually on May 26th, I believe. So we're barely taking off and, you know, we're excited to get more people within our neighborhoods involved, like people in East LA, Boyle Heights, City Terrace, and the SGV, San Gabriel Valley as well. I'm not too familiar with the towns in SGV, but definitely trying to get more people involved in DSA. And committees, I'm part of the Immigration Justice Committee and also the Labor Committee. And then I try to attend different meetings depending on what, sometimes you want to go in and join the Political Education Committee, and you can do that because everybody's welcome. So yeah, I try to just join meetings when I can.
Could you talk a little bit about the two committees that you're in, like the work that's going on in them?
Yeah, so the Labor Committee, I actually haven't, they had a meeting yesterday, but I had another meeting, which is another, it's not, so there's another aspect of like DSA, or another function of DSA that they're trying to roll out, which is called the Neighborhood Solidarity Network. So I was in a meeting for that as well. But the Immigration Justice Committee, what their latest project or latest fundraiser that they were doing was towards being able to help families that are undocumented and that weren't able to receive any stimulus funds from the government. And we recently did a fundraiser on Wednesday with Sarah Squirm, Eric Andre, and a couple other comedians. And so they were able to fundraise $60,000. So it's super awesome because now we're able to help more families, and we're able to, because what we do is we deliver cards with $400 in them to each family that applied for this help. So this weekend, we're going to actually go and give out more cards to families. So I'm super excited to do that. And today and yesterday, I've been calling people that have applied and just letting them know, like, hey, we're going to go this weekend, and just getting to know them a little bit more and what their struggle is like right now with COVID. Awesome. So yeah, that's what's going on there. And then I'll talk about the NSN later because it's super awesome.
Yeah, so I started attending the Political Education Committee events first because, like I said, I really wanted to just learn more about socialism and theories. And so once I felt more comfortable there, I also started attending the Electoral Politics Committee. I'm interested in just local politics in general. I am on my neighborhood council and reached out to one of the coordinators or the chairs of the political Electoral Politics Committee about organizing the neighborhood councils. So now I'm leading a working group to get more DSA representation on neighborhood councils throughout LA.
Amazing.
Awesome.
And real quick, can you elaborate to people who aren't in the DSA what the political education is, what that is?
Yeah, so the Political Education Committee, it's the one I actually recommend to all of my friends that I'm trying to bring into DSA. They put on series of night classes or workshops around different socialist topics. So right now, I think they're working on covering socialist movements in Los Angeles since the 60s. And so they'll do one every month. They also had, I remember when I first joined, they had a series on socialism through the ages. And so they started with its inception through it's the movements in Latin America and today. So it's just a group that is seeking to provide a space for folks who want to learn more about the ins and outs of socialism.
Yeah, and I would also highly recommend it because we went to our first one a few weeks ago, and they were talking about Prop 13, and I honestly learned so much from it. So I think that's a big highlight of DSA for me as well.
I also wanted to ask about your involvement with neighborhood councils, and what are neighborhood councils exactly?
Yeah. So neighborhood councils are an opportunity for hyper-local governance. Our tagline for my neighborhood council is trying to put out ads about ourselves, and our tagline is bringing city council to your doorstep. And so essentially it's community members who are discussing topics that relate just specifically to your neighborhood. And then we write statements that get sent to city council or to city hall representing our neighborhood. We also get a pot of money that we can use to distribute to nonprofits in the area. And currently, some of us are talking about how we can increase that pot so that, we can further support our community, especially during these times.
Great. Thank you. And I know we're also trying to fill neighborhood councils with more DSA LA members as well, right, to try to sort of influence local politics. I wanted to ask, what can a member do? Let's say somebody joins DSA LA today. I wanted to hear from both of you, like, what would you suggest or recommend? Oh, here she is.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
Hey, girl.
Hi.
Hi. You're on mute.
Sorry, I tend to do that always, but we're matching me and Kat. I'm just
That's amazing. We should ask Janet.
Yeah.
We asked. So Janet, if you feel comfortable sharing, Kat and Abrila already shared. We were wondering if you have like a role in DSALA, what it was, and also if you're a part of any committees, what are those committees like?
My role on DSA is I'm the co-coordinator for the new branch, the SGV, ESA SGV branch with Kat. And I just signed up for the revolution that I wanted from the Bernie's campaign, and that's what we're looking for, that's what I'm working for, and that's why I'm here.
Awesome. I also wanted to ask you, so you got into DSA to continue the revolution of Bernie Sanders, and I know you also had a position in the Bernie Sanders campaign. Could you talk a bit about that? Because I'm interested.
Yeah, I was the field organizer for the Bernie campaign in my area for Congressional District 32. And we won our Congressional District thanks to the volunteers that were always out there doing the bet. Like, they believed in the message, they believed in him. Like, and that's the reason now that we all joined DSA to keep doing that work. And I'm saying all because most of us from the campaign are DSA.
Yeah. And so I wanted to reach out to people who are still, they love Bernie Sanders and just progressive politics and have not yet come to DSALA. Come on over. And I wanted all of you to, list some recommendations or suggestions or sort of like, what can new members of DSALA, what can they do? What can they do to join the movement? Whoever wants to take that first.
Okay, you can go.
First, I just wanted to shout out both Jeanette and Kat. So I heard that y'all opened the chapter, or the new chapter or branch, a month or two ago, and that already you have a ton of new members. One of my friends who has followed this was just talking about how amazing, you guys are just really out first. And then I think I might be frozen. Am I okay? I'm okay. Thank you. I think, honestly, for me, it was a little bit overwhelming when I first joined DSA. I must have joined like a year and a half ago. And I went to an IJC Immigration Justice Committee meeting first, and I was like, I don't really know where to plug in here. And then I went to like a couple of branch meetings, and I was like, I don't really know anybody here either. And it really took me a while to like feel comfortable coming into this space. Some of the opportunities that I encourage folks to seek out are, like I said, the political education committee sessions. Just if you're like curious about learning and want to meet people and are comfortable like not knowing, I think that's a space where if you're new, like it's totally okay for you to come in and be like, I don't know, that's what I'm here for. And so I like that. And then there are also socials that you can attend, just like neighborhood socials so that you can meet more people. And again, just more like active work. I think several of the committees have projects that, that they put on, depending on like what your skill set is, you can plug yourself in. So the stimulus check campaign was huge. And there are a lot of people who are like doing work on that end to try and get those funds to families who don't have access to them otherwise. Even within the Electoral Politics Committee, we have a data subcommittee for folks who prefer to contribute with like online research. And so for the Neighborhood Council Project, we have folks who are doing research on the city council files that are coming out in order to help us write our community impact statements that we're then passing on to our DSA members. So it just really, there are a lot of opportunities for you to get plugged in depending on what your comfort level is.
So I'll take over like now. So I joined because I wanted to find, like, it was hard for me to join too because it was intimidating, like I didn't know where to start, who to speak to. So that's the reason that I encouraged for us to start the branch. Like I just want, like, if I felt like that way, maybe other people did too. So I think that's what we're all we're trying to change, so people can feel like they're welcome. Like, we want to do this, and we believe in the same message and we want to change the world. And now is the time, for us to finish what we were doing. So, and then I also asked for help with stimulus check because I didn't qualify. My husband is undocumented, and I needed help, and they helped me. So I know it's some great, a bunch of people that are trying to help people because they helped me.
Yeah, and just to go off of Abril, it's true, like when you join DSA, it's very like, okay, what do I do? Who do I, like, how do I get involved? Like, I want to do more work. How do I get more involved? And honestly, like what I would suggest is right now, what DSA is trying to do is trying to organize each neighborhood. And what that means is that they're trying to get, like, let's say I'm in DSA, right? I'm from East LA. I'm reaching out to people that are in DSA or that have been interested in joining DSA by making calls to them and just checking in on them, making sure that they're doing okay, and building a relationship with the people that are involved in DSA within my neighborhood. So that anytime that we have some sort of ask within our neighborhood, like, hey, I already have a team of people that are going to go to this protest or that are helping me organize some sort of protest or helping me organize some sort of campaign. So I honestly would suggest getting involved in the NSN, the Neighborhood Solidarity Network, which is basically going to end up being, intertwined with the branch structure. Because at the end of the day, what the point of our branches is to be able to grow and get more people in our branches and be able to activate people into actual action. So I think that is super important. I also think that branch meetings that are more casual, like you guys were at the one that we did, the organizing committee one, where we kind of like, just talked about the NSN and talked about ways to get involved and breaking down committees. Because I feel like DSA, and I've said this before, like I feel like DSA 101 helps you understand like socialism, but it doesn't really help you understand how to get involved, where to go, what committees there are, what are like for me, when I joined, I was like, what are committees? Like, what are campaigns? I don't understand this stuff. So it was important for us to break that down in our first organizing committee meeting, just because I feel like a lot of people, I'm sure, felt the same way. So yeah, and I would say reach out to, I don't know, the branch. Like for me, I would love for people to reach out to me and let me know, like, hey, I want to get more involved. What do I do? Reaching out to branch coordinators or just reaching out to people that are in the meetings, like, hey, I want to get more involved. What do I do? And people will reach out to you. Trust me, people will look for you. So yeah.
Thank you all for sharing that. And Janet, I also saw you sent a message that said you don't have to be a part of DSA to attend a meeting. And I think that's good to know because maybe someone's not ready to commit yet or, so it's cool to know that you can attend a meeting, see, how you feel about it, and then hopefully commit, So thank you for sharing that, Janet. And I also wanted to ask you all that I know DSA helps campaigns, like local campaigns. I know currently they're helping NITHYA in Los Angeles with her campaign. What are some of the other campaigns that DSA has helped with?
I'm honestly not too familiar with like past campaigns. I only know about the NITHYA one that DSA is working towards right now, and super crucial for people to get involved if you like want a home bank or if you, because that's really the only thing we can do right now. We can't go out and like leave pamphlets. We can't go out and door knock. And I feel like getting NITHYA in office will inspire other people to get into or run for office. So I feel like it's super important for us to get involved in that campaign right now, and you know, make as many phone calls as you can, get other friends involved, even if you're not from District 30, CD 34. You know, it's still important to get a progressive in somewhere, so that we can inspire other people. But other than that, I really haven't heard too much about other people that DSA LA has endorsed, but I don't know if maybe already, you know, of anyone.
Yeah, so that's the work that the electoral politics committee does, right? If there's a candidate that wants an endorsement, they then like come onto the meetings. And I'm relatively new to the committee, so I don't think I could speak on like the like smaller details about that process. But I do know that you know, there are a variety of questions and like an intake process that takes place when someone wants a DSA endorsement. And I know that there are also different levels of endorsement. So there's, you know, certain levels where like DSA commits to helping, like with NITHYA, helping to do the legwork to get them elected. There are also Jackie Goldberg. Does that? Yes? Okay. So one of the more recent campaigns that we ran was to get Goldberg on LAUSD. And so then, you know, she ended up winning her seat. But now there are conversations about how to ensure that you know, the communication between DSA and an elected official stays strong, so that they can, you know, remain accountable to our work and our I guess, vision for change. For example, Goldberg, I know, voted against defunding, you know, LAUSD's involvement with police most recently. So I think that that's something that now the committee is discussing on how to ensure that we can hold the folks that we helped get elected accountable.
Would either of you want to like shout out anything that you're working on right now, or anything that people can join in the next week or so? Just basically, the floor is open for anything at this point.
Yes. I would say if you want to join something, I would say join the NSN, Neighborhood Solidarity Network. Like I said, it's just super important to reach out to our neighbors, to reach out to people that, you know, are kind of thinking about getting into DSA but aren't too sure about how to go about it. And if all they need is like a phone call, or all they need is like a text to get them more activated or to get them involved, you know, the NSN is really, really helpful with that. And also I think something that with the Eastside and SGV that we need to focus on too is like having our meetings in multiple languages, so like in English and Spanish or whatever other type of, because the thing is that in order to get more, the people that we want to be involved in DSA are not just like, you know, like our age, are not just like people that only speak English, are people that are working class, that are like at the front lines of what's going on with the whole pandemic, what's going on with the whole system. So I feel like it's super important to do that. And if we get more members that speak Spanish and English, or speak Chinese and English, and speak Japanese and English, we're able to have these meetings. So I think it's super crucial for us to outreach to people who, like I said, might not speak English, but really do want to get involved. And I think the Neighborhood Solidarity Network could work with that and I think that it's going to take like for us to have a whole nother plan on how we're going to outreach people that only speak Spanish, or only speak Chinese, or only speak Japanese, or whatever other language. But I think it's super, super important for us to, as DSA LA in general, to just think about how we can, you know, get to this next phase of being able to hold our meetings in Spanish, having our social media in Spanish, and attracting, and not just Spanish, but, you know, other languages, and attracting more of those people, because we need them in the fight. So, yeah.
Definitely. I really like that. I didn't know that project was going on. And now, like, the east side, I think that's really powerful. I'd say for anybody who's interested in eventually running for office, I think the Neighborhood Council Project is a really good place to get started. Like I said, we're trying to get more progressive folks on neighborhood councils. It is a relatively easy process to get onto a neighborhood council, and it is a really good way to get exposure into local government, and, you know, to just like open your network and make connections. So anyone who is interested, I'd really encourage them to to join us.
And last thing also I wanted to say, like, if you're watching this and you're kind of like on borderline, like, should I join, should I not join, just join. What's the worst that can happen? Like, you can do comrades for like, do your free trial. If you can't afford it right now, just go in, do comrades for like a month or two, just see if you like it. And then if you don't, you can just, not join. But honestly, once you're in, you're gonna be looking at like things that are going on, like the classes that happen, as Abril said, and the committees that go on, and like look, the stimulus solidarity campaign that we did, like, and all this work that can be done, and you're gonna want to stay, I promise. And if you don't, reach out to me, call me, email me, Instagram me. I got you.
Amazing, and I totally agree with you on that. It's a great community. Well, thank you both so much for your time and for sharing your experience with DSA LA. We really value your time and your contributions.
And also just thank you so much for everything you're doing as organizers. It's been awesome to meet both of you and just all the amazing people in DSA. I think that's another great reason to join, is just to like network and get to know people and build community. That's kind of been one of my favorite things so far too. So again, thank you so much. And of course we'll keep in contact.
Yeah, for sure. Guys, join DSA. Guys and girls, join DSA. Let's do this. Work together. We need to do this. Like, come on. Not me, us. Let's go.